Hey, listeners, my name is Elisha, the founder of the Witnesses podcast. It's so beautiful to have you listening to our podcast, and I want you to know something that means a whole lot to me. Thank you for tuning in. And one thing I love to tell all of our listeners is it's not just about you listening, but listening to understand. Understanding is the most important thing, so important. So, you have to listen, learn, and practice. Thank you so very much and happy listening.
Hi, Shane. It's nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Very well, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Okay, so oftentimes I love to talk about the essence of this show, which is to invite amazing guests, amazing guests like Shane to come talk to us about their triumphant stories because we believe that in our audience there might be someone who is stuck up in a situation that Shane came out of triumphantly. So by that person listening to you speak, he or she might actually pick an information that will lead to their transformation. So that's basically the essence of the show. Alright, Shane, in the next few minutes, let us get started with your story, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. Then afterwards, I've got some questions for you. Okay, Shane, over to you.
Very good. Thanks a lot. Well, appreciate you having me again. I appreciate your show and the message of the good work that you do. Um, my story is this. I think that my story is not unusual in that I think that we all human beings go.
Okay, alright. We lost Shane. Wow, that was getting really interesting. Okay, let's wait for Shane to get back on. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, let's wait for Shane to get back on. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. We're waiting for Shane to get back on. We're waiting for Shane to get back on. We're waiting for Shane to get back on. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. Okay. I think maybe it's
Here we
all
are.
right. You're back. You're back. You're back. Okay. So continue, Shane.
Just go on.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, I'll go on with that. The short of the matter was is that when as I was having feelings of not measuring up, not being good enough, I started to drink to feel better, and then I felt worse as a result of what I was doing. I ended up in trouble with the law, and I ended up diminishing my life in every way that you possibly can, and just destroying relationships, and it was a bad deal. With the help of God and horses, I was able to come to some realizations and make the change and be able to break free and be able to see a piece of this world that I didn't know was available for a good part of my life. I was 47 years old,
Mm,
and my hope is that my message to the world is you're worth it already. you don't need to be 47 to figure out that you're okay. And I hope that you don't, because the I believe that the single most thing that we can do, like I said, is to commit to an ongoing relationship with ourselves, to pursue a loving relationship with ourselves. And I'll tell you why. I believe in it so much, I don't even think it's a good idea. I believe it's our duty to mankind to be able to do this, because without it, we're not able to give our gift to the world. We're not able to give to relationships. We're not able to be our best selves.
Okay, so let's wait for Shane again. I think it's the network. All right, welcome back,
I
man.
don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
the
thank
network.
you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we all, Elisha, have done things in our lives that we look at that we're not so happy about. We all have some amount of shame wrapped up in things that we've done. We've all done things that we're not proud of. And it's what we do and how we choose to look at those things that makes the difference to us. And what horses taught me is that horses forgave me. Okay. When I looked at myself and I said, am I being fair to this horse? Am I clearly communicating to this horse what I'm, and am I treating him in a fair way? And there was times when I weren't. And so, but what that horse would do is he wouldn't say, well, there'll be no consequence for you making a bad decision, Shane. There was a consequence in for what I was doing. But if I change my behavior, that horse didn't judge me for forever. He forgave me and let me come back, which is a very interesting lesson that when I saw that in horses, I looked at me and I said, if I get to choose, why can't I do that for me? And so I began to do that for me with the example of horses and other people in my life. And the thing of it is no matter what it is that you've done, whatever it is that you've done that you're not proud of, that you have shame wrapped up in, no matter what it doesn't matter what it is. Okay. So you could list 1,000 of the worst things, and whatever they are, whatever your thing is, it doesn't matter. If you can come to know that regardless of whatever that thing is, you still have equal value. You have equal value as I have equal value. And you would say, well, why would I know that? Because I know I shouldn't have done that thing. And so why can I believe that? And I think that one easy way to know why is because of what I mentioned earlier. I don't know if the internet connection was good, but what I said is what if you could come to believe anything that you wanted to about you? What if you could do that? What would you choose? Because the thing of it is we can. So why wouldn't we? And when we begin to accept ourselves, regardless of what we've done, I'll tell you one more little piece about this, and that is that I rejected this idea. I rejected that I was okay. I didn't want to be okay with the things I've done because I knew they weren't wrong, and I thought that if I accepted me, I was accepting the things that had done. I couldn't make the separation between the things that I had done and who I was as a result. I thought it was the same. I am not worthy. I am not good because I did that thing. Not so. It's backwards. So what that line of thinking did to me is it said I was not able to accept me because of what I had done. Because I thought if I accepted that, then I accepted that thing as right. And it wasn't right. So what I had to come to figure out is that it's okay if I did something that was not right. And the only way that I'm going to get better and be able to make that better, the only way that I'm going to make the future better and make reparations and make the past better is if I come to know that, hey, Shane, you've done a bunch of stupid shit in your life, and it's okay. You're probably going to do some more stupid shit in your life, and it's still going to be okay because you still have equal value. And the part that I can recognize that and know that and be okay with it and have my own back gives me the power right here, right there in that thought process that I get to choose. I get to choose that, and so do you and every single one of your viewers and listeners. We get to choose that if we choose to. And if we get to choose that and we accept ourselves and we have our own back, which is just a simple thought process that can turn into a habit, then what I've done is I can look at myself and I can look at the future and I can make better decisions going forward instead of constantly beating myself up. And when I do that, I have more odds of doing more stupid shit in the future. So, um, so what I have to say is you're worth it, man. Right now, right this very moment, as you are. God loves you. He made you. You are 100%. It doesn't matter what you did. You're not 90% or 80% or 20% or 2% because of what you've done. You're 100% right now. And
It's
that's what
so
I would like
beautiful.
you to know.
Yeah, you're so correct because there are actually a whole lot of people that have condemned themselves because of the stuff they've done. They feel like everyone around me is condemning me. I think God might also be condemning me. So listening to what you're saying now, I bet it's going to help them transform their lives and believe that, yeah, God isn't condemning them. I love that. Okay, so Shane, sorry. We have two questions. Two questions, all right. And the very first one says, what are the solutions to the most common obstacles in changing careers? You got that?
Yeah, very good. So, yeah, um, if you're interested in changing careers, well, the two the big thing that stops us is our idea that we can or not. Our confidence, and just like accepting ourselves, confidence is a choice. And what I mean by confidence is not is what I'm talking about is self confidence, not in doing a thing. Not I'm confident in changing and getting a new career, but I have self confidence. And I'm saying that there's a difference between being confident in a thing and self confidence in ourselves. And the first thing and the most important thing that we see with just about everybody who doesn't get it done is the thought process of choosing to have self confidence, which means kind of the same thing as what we were talking to along similar lines. And that is, can I do this? Now, you may not know that you can do this. So how can you know that if you can do something that you haven't done in the future? You don't know, right? Because you haven't done it. You don't have that track record. You don't have your past to look to and say, oh, I've already done this. I can do this again. No problem. I have that confidence. When we don't have that, we have to operate from our self confidence. Our self confidence has to make those decisions to move forward based on courage. Where do we get the courage? The courage, we all look at courage and we say, well, courage sounds like a pretty cool emotion. I want to have courage, but there's a lot of positivity wrapped up inside of it. But actually, courage is very difficult to exercise. It's very difficult to make that decision. There's some fear around it. I mean, you really have to dig deep to be able to make those decisions. And so as we exercise our courage, as we choose to exercise our courage and take little steps forward, believing the only thing that we have to believe inside of ourselves is that we will continue to keep trying. I know that whatever happens to me, if I fail and fail and fail, I know that I can keep trying. I know that I'll be okay if I fail and that I can keep trying. These are kind of the ideas and thought processes that help people understand that if they truly want to make a change in what they do, and if you think about how much time we spend earning money in our lifetimes, this is a big decision. It's a tremendous decision for most of us in our lives. So if there's something that's driving our hearts and souls that we know that we should be doing and we're just not quite doing it, I believe that um, these thought processes that I'm talking about, and that is the only thing that you really have to know is that you're probably going to fail before you get there, probably multiple times, and that you're going to be okay when you do, and that you're going to keep going when you do. If you can accept that, I'm calling that self-confidence in yourself. That you know that you can handle whatever emotion happens along the way, because that's probably going to be the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to feel bad, or you're going to react to what other people think about you as you fail moving forward. And if you know that you're going to be okay with that, and that you commit with a no matter what reason to move forward on your dream in your life of getting what you want out of it, then you're on your way. Then you're on your way to making the contribution that you have with your gift to this world. And I think that that's the key.
Beautiful, I got that. Okay, so the last question. It says, why are so many people or us people frustrated with their experience or their results? Did you get that?
Why are so many people frustrated with
Yeah,
their results?
yeah,
Just their general results in life.
mm,
Is that your question? Why are
yeah,
people just frustrated with themselves?
yeah, frustrated with their experience or their results. Yeah, general results and all of
Yeah.
that. Mm,
Why are people frustrated? I mean, if you look at the things that you've done in your life, I heard a guest on your show just recently, the guy that has the Good Mood show, and he mentioned, and I'll say what he mentioned in your show. He said at the beginning of the next day, he looks back on the last day and he lists three things that he did well the day before, and it gets him doing more better things, and it changes the view of the way he views himself. And I'll tell you that along the same lines of your previous guest, is that our natural brain, the way that we are created, is designed to protect us and do a lot of things that sometimes don't serve us well. When we can, and when we know that, and it's okay, our brain is just in there just trying to protect us and make us survive, and that's all fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't have to be our destiny. We get to choose to decide to make decisions around that. So our natural brain says, hey, you didn't do good enough, Elisha. You made that mistake. You failed. You're this because you failed, and you keep failing. And you should have done better because of this and that and the other. And so it sometimes our default thoughts, if we don't pay attention to them and don't have the awareness, are negative thoughts about ourselves that equal us being unhappy with our results. And so I think it's just a matter of choice of focus. Personal responsibility is a huge subject, and that's my number two thing in life that goes along with choosing to have self confidence, and that is that knowing and exercising our agency. So what I mean by that is that knowing that we are in control. We have been given the gift of choice to be able to choose our thoughts. And what I mean by that is thoughts equal the sentences or the phrases that go zipping in between here and here all day long. Some of them just happen. This amazing computer we call a brain is such an incredible processor. It ends up giving us somewhere in the neighborhood of 60,000 thoughts per day. Okay. And we're not even aware of most of the ones that come zipping through our mind. The as we become aware of some, just a few a day, and that we can recognize that are not serving us. And when we know, okay, first of all, I can recognize that I'm having a thought that's not serving me. The next step is to know that I can have the gift and I have the agency and I've been given the power of choice to be able to change that thought. So what a circumstance happens to me and I can say, oh man, I'm so miserable. I did this thing and I sucked. I failed. I'm such a loser, right? And if I look at that and I say, thinking that I'm a loser it's not really helping me. If I can recognize that, the next step is I can recognize that I don't have to think that. I can think whatever I want about that thing. Maybe I want to choose that thing I I know that that's a way not to do it next time. I know that that's something that I learned. I know something. I know that it's part of the process. I know that failure is part of the deal. I can think I can think whatever I want about that, and I get to think something that will serve me better. So understanding that choice and then beginning to exercise it is incredible empowerment. And it begins with just taking the thought to be aware of some of our thoughts that are happening every day that they don't seem to, when they're not making us feel good or helping us get where we want to be.
I got that. And I love how you explain it, Shane. That's so beautiful. Okay, so in conclusion, let's say there is a piece of advice you'd like to give to the audience. What would that be? And let's say there are some people listening who would like to reach out to you, learn more about you, and all of that. How can that be possible?
Yeah. The one piece of advice I have to the world is this, is that you're worth it. You're worth all of it. You're worth 100%. And my piece of advice is in order to know that I would ask you to commit, not to a little deal, but to a lifetime pursuit of a good, positive relationship with yourself. Because I can guarantee you that as you become, and it's a process. Sometimes we don't feel so good about ourselves, and sometimes then we try to feel better about ourselves, and things happen, and it's an up and down. But if you commit to a good, positive, loving relationship, an accepting, forgiving, loving relationship with yourself, is the only way that you're going to be able to give to the other people in the relationships that you have, and be able to commit fully to to make your contribution to the world. And that begins with two things, which is just to begin, just pay attention to how your thoughts and your words about yourself. And when you catch yourself having negative thoughts and having negative words about yourself, the key right there is to recognize them and then to know that you can change them, because you get to think whatever you want about yourself. And if you can think that you're an amazing, unique, priceless, invaluable creation, and you're the only one that's you, if you can think that, it will serve you better. And I hope that you do, because take my word, you are. You can find us at thehorsemanshipjourney.com.
Okay, beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for your time, Shane. It really means a whole lot. Thank you for coming. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
My very pleasure. Thanks a lot, Elisha.
Thank you for tuning in to this incredible episode. Your support means the world to us, and we truly value you. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.